Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with Emily. I am Emily. Today I am doing Diamond Painting 101. I am not an expert in diamond painting, but I wanted to give a baseline of some of the different uh, parts of diamond painting and some of the accessories so that as you're learning about all of the different exciting aspects of diamond painting that you kind of have a place to start. My goal is that these are digestible and manageable. The videos will be by topic. So we're going to start with the canvas. We're going to talk about drills, the diamonds or the drills. We're going to talk about the different accessories that go with diamond painting. So if you are not interested in, or if you are interested in something specific, go ahead and take a look at the playlist and find that particular topic. But the idea, my intention at least, is that these are manageable so that you can sort of get through them. I tried to do something similar to this in one of my first videos, and it ended up being very long. I didn't really understand how long that was going to be, so it wasn't very digestible. But we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with canvases. So there are a couple of different ways to diamond paint. Most of us are going to start out with a pre-made kit like this. So this is a Diamond Dots. You can see the Diamond Dots logo here. This is an adorable little bear and her cub, or a big bear and her cub. So this is a printed canvas, and then Diamond Dots has created, Diamond Dots has created this grid here. And this grid has symbols on it. And those symbols are going to correspond to the diamonds that we're going to place on that grid. Once they've printed this canvas, they've also put a layer of glue on top of it, or adhesive. And there are a couple of ways to do that. A lot of companies now use something called poured glue. So once the canvas is printed with the base image, right, and the grid, then the canvas is flat, and they're literally pouring a layer of glue on top of that. Bless your tulip. And then that glue cures, and then they put this plastic cover sheet on top so that when we are ready to diamond paint, that glue is still nice and sticky. I don't know if you can hear that pop. My microphone's back here. There is also something called double-sided adhesive, which is essentially a big sheet of double-sided tape that goes down on the canvas. There are some benefits to double-sided adhesive. That's not something that I'm very familiar with. I've done quite a few canvases, but poured glue is much more popular right now. And I have, like I said, I'm not as familiar with double-sided adhesive, and I don't at this point, or have not up to this point, known enough about the different types of adhesive to choose double-sided adhesive over poured glue. So I personally don't have any experience with that, but some people prefer it for specific reasons. So if you're interested in learning more about that, what I do know is that if you have a poured glue canvas, the canvas itself is much more forgiving. If you have a double-sided adhesive canvas, the adhesive can be a little bit tricky, right? So when the canvas is all rolled up like this in the box, there can be air bubbles and things like that that get trapped underneath, which is fine, and there are ways to deal with it. It's just a little bit different than poured glue, so you just have to know what's going on there. So we have poured glue or double-sided adhesive. We also have full or partial canvases. So our little bear here and her cub, again, she's not little, she is technically a partial canvas. If you can see, her dots all the way up. Mama bear has dots, but right around the edges at the top here, this is just canvas. So when I diamond paint her, I'm not diamond painting this whole area. I'm just diamond painting basically up here and then the top, up to the top of Mama's ears. And then these flowers, they didn't bother to change, right? So this is what we would call a partial canvas, as opposed to, this is the one I'm currently working on. This is The Frog by Curtis Reichowich. This guy, the whole canvas, all of this area, he's all dots. He's going to be all diamonds. So this is what we would call a full canvas, as opposed to our little bear, who is a partial canvas. So we have poured glue, we have double-sided adhesive, we have a full or a partial canvas. The next question is, where does this artwork come from? So if you look into what makes, sorry, I don't know if I hit my microphone just then. You look into what makes specific diamond paintings or specific diamond painting companies good, you'll hear a lot about licensing, and that is very important, in my opinion. Diamond Dots licenses their work directly from an artist. So if you look, you won't be able to read it because I'm using my front-facing camera. But down here at the bottom, they have the title, Diamond Dots, their serial number, the title, Mother and Cub. Diamond Dots gets really creative with their titles. And then down here it says image produced under license from 123rf.com. That's not very specific. This is probably a stock photo that they purchased, but they did license this image. Before I talk any more about licensing, I do want to remind you guys, because I have said on my channel before, I am an attorney. We're going to talk a little bit about licensing. I'm not giving any legal advice here. I'm not your lawyer. Just craft Barbie right now. Again, just craft Barbie. So again, the frog here, this one, this is by Curtis Reichowich. This is licensed. So when we use the word licensed, what that means is that these companies have gone to an artist or to their agent, or to a company that does stock photos like this bear. Maybe not a stock photo, but some sort of licensing company, right? And they have compensated someone fairly to use this image for their artwork. Once the company licenses the artwork from the artist, then the company is the one that does the rendering. And rendering is where they go in and, like I said, they create this grid. And the quality of the grid and the way that they assign the symbols to the colors and how they adjust the grid and things like that, that's going to really determine how the final product turns out. So once your artwork is licensed and rendered, then you get your beautiful canvas. I do want to talk briefly about AI. I think people bring up licensing and AI kind of in the same conversation. They are very closely related, and they often do go together. Again, I'm being craft Barbie right now. If you are purchasing diamond paintings from places like Amazon or Temu or Shein or AliExpress, a lot of those places are marketplaces, right? So there's a much higher chance, there's a fairly high chance that you're going to run across unlicensed artwork. So artwork maybe that's been stolen. You see a lot of paintings that show up on that other companies have licensed, but then another company steals that image, right? Steals that image. They're stealing it from the artist and they're turning it into their own diamond painting. You also see a lot of artwork that uses AI or that is completely AI generated. There's a lot of legal and ethical questions about companies that are just generating artwork with AI. That's maybe a different conversation. But there are some people who feel that is much less bad than maybe stolen artwork on these more budget-friendly websites. Okay, so we have those two situations. We also have a third situation regarding AI, which is that AI is a tool, and some artists use AI as a tool. And that is another separate conversation that artists and people who support artists, as well as the rest of the world, is having. So just know that when you hear licensing and AI in the same conversation, those are maybe the same topic, definitely related, but sort of together. So if you can, there are lots of budget-friendly places where you can get licensed artwork. Diamond Dots is a great choice that's really accessible. If you can purchase it in a craft store, it's probably licensed. So Make Market at Michael's. Michael's also sells Diamond Dots. Everything that Hobby Lobby sells, as far as I know, is also licensed, although I believe they've just cut their stock back pretty significantly. I know in some Walmarts you can get Diamond Dots. We have the two big companies, right? Dreamer Designs, and then Diamond Art Club is the big one that pops up when people first start learning about licensed artwork. There are other companies that sell licensed artwork if you're looking in that price point. So keep in mind places like Jaded Gem Shop, Oraloa, Muni Made, Bella Art Diamonds, Distracted by Diamonds. There's a really wonderful list. Diamonds and Washi, I believe, has it on her channel of licensed diamond art companies. As far as more budget-friendly options for licensed artwork, like I said, in stores you can get a lot of good options. Online, on Amazon, Diamond Art Club does have a storefront on Amazon that has some more of their affordable pieces. I think Dreamer just has one piece on Amazon, but Art Dot, I have an Art Dot piece that we're going to do together in a few weeks. Art Dot is licensed. Star Ore, they're also pretty affordable. They are licensed. So if you look around, there are lots of licensed options. It is a little more difficult to sort of vet your choices rather than just to scroll and purchase. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I do want to give you the information so you can make an informed choice. Okay, so that's the canvases. We're going to move on if you're ready to join me in the next video. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.